Welcome, everybody, back to another great day of Pro League here. It is Tuesday. Prime is back going up against the JIN Green Wings. I am Valdez with me today. I do have a partner. It is Wolf. How are you doing?
You're not alone. You and I looking so handsome here on screen, of course, as always. Yeah. Yep, this is going to be a pretty exciting day. We see Prime that has rebranded because they're basically, well, I'll talk about this a little bit more later because we're going to talk about JIN here first. JIN Green Wings currently with a terrible record of 0-2 and -6.
The Green Wings definitely going to have to pull it together here just a bit better. Fortunately, they do get Prime to go up against, so maybe they can kind of bounce off of these guys, get a couple of free wins, and move on. Or is Prime, with all the new stuff that's going on with their team, maybe they'll have a bit of light in them and try to turn it around as well. In high spirits today.
Now, Gerard has stepped down officially as head coach of Prime, citing that he wanted to focus more on League of Legends. Now, She-Coms will be actually taking over. Well, such a game trader, man. First, the Hearthstone, then the
straight up game trading. I don't know what else to say.
The She-Coms here is going to be taking over with the ex-STX coach taking the head coach role. Now, he's been doing this since August 1st, and looks to be actually taking a bigger, possibly even more managerial role over the team in the coming future, he said in the interview. So there's a high chance that we actually see a big future for Prime, perhaps future sponsors, perhaps new players, and just a new team in general. All of that, of course, will be happening next season, if it happens at all, because it's already round 4 and you can't switch the rosters at this point.
It's actually fantastic that this is all happening. Prime, they're pretty much out of it for now. They've only got 4 players on the roster right now that they can use. The Chinese players are still in China. They're still not playing. So they're trying to slowly turn it around here, maybe use round 4 as a springboard for next year and just, trying to do their best, even if they don't, get any playoff spots or whatever.
Well, they have taken one set win so much as JIN has not been able to do so this round. They're actually in 8th place currently. So whoever wins this will actually take the lead as far as these two teams go.
Oh, boy.
And you can see SK Telecom with their win over Samsung yesterday is ending their streak. We'll take that 3-0 with a +9. That is incredible.
Yeah, Samsung was looking good the game before, but then they got chopped down by the axe that is SKT. And then, of course, CJ did quite well against MVP for that second round. So both Hero and Biel getting wins there. Going up to now 17 wins is Hero.
Yep, Zest and Maru will both be playing today, as well as SOS Flash. I think that's it for this list of players. But you talked about this yesterday. A lot of these players down here actually have incredible win rates.
It's really classic and Dream that's on that list. They're both at like 12-3, 11-3, something ridiculous. But here we do have the lineup for today's match. Prime versus JIN, YoDa versus Czech to start. That might be Prime's best chance at getting a win, funnily enough. Yeah.
Looking at Keen, he's the only one on Prime's roster that will actually have the sideways arrow. I feel a loss today would actually take that away from him because I think he is on a losing streak right now. He did actually have like a cool Reaper build in the last TVT he played. He took an advantage but wasn't able to capitalize and ended up losing the game. The last game I ended up watching out of him, but a tough match here for Prime, as is every match they're playing these days with only 4 members to play. The team can easily predict which players will come on which map based off of the race favoring. Yeah. If you're going to send an inappropriate race, like if you send a Terran favorite player on a ZBT favorite map, for example, try to throw them off, well, then you have to play a bad matchup on the map. It's just kind of like you're stuck in this catch-22.
But I like I said before, just to add another thing in Prime's favor for maybe next year, like all 4 of these players, they're not the best players, but if they continuously play every single match here in round 4, they're going to get a ton of experience, and maybe they can build off of these 4 players as kind of their core for next year, add a bunch of players, maybe some better players even, more situated players that have gotten some wins elsewhere or have done better over the course of some individual leagues.
Sure. We saw YoDa is on a 13-game losing streak. Excuse me. No Prime player's ever been on a winning streak before, I don't think. But we saw also Maru is
terrible.
If he loses, it'll be his first time this season to take 3 losses in a row, and the clock is still gone. This is currently only for Pro League. And this is probably being discussed for Star League as well, but the betting that goes on is mostly for Pro League. So this is just, of course, trying to maintain a clean esports environment. So we'll be trying to give you guys as many updates as we can on big in-game moments. in the in-game clock, but of course won't be shown on screen.
Here we go into our predictions. It looks like YoDa got the better of me. I was tied with him yesterday. He must have done pretty well overall. I think I only got one wrong, so he must have got them all. But for this matchup, funnily enough, two people still going for YoDa after he's lost 13 games in a row.
Yeah. My prediction win rate is the lowest it's ever been. I did get...
Well, you had one bad day last week.
Yeah.
So...
It's
still early, so
exactly.
You're fine.
Okay, YoDa, 5-17, 16-game losing streak. Now think about that. Or sorry, 13-game losing streak. Think about that. That means that his record before was actually pretty decent. I don't know what went wrong. He's 1-5 versus Zerg, and even though Czech is a relatively unknown player for Jinner, I think this is the second time playing this season. I think that YoDa is going to struggle.
I definitely think so, too. I kind of remember the game that Czech came out as well. He lost the game, but he looked pretty, he looked pretty middle of the road. I mean, anyone on that Jinner team is going to be able to come out and do decently.
Yeah.
So, I would still favor him highly here over YoDa. And here he is, Czech. He's 2-14 overall. Not the best record, but trying to make a new name for himself here in 2015. Finds himself on the roster.
Yeah, I think some of those results there from the end of StarCraft 1 and sort of that hybrid league where he's playing, I think, on Kespa's 8th team briefly, so you can see his results. Some of those, it makes it look like he's a terrible player, but those are not recent, so keep that in mind.
Well, guys, we're going to get into game number 1 here. The map is going to be Iron Fortress. YoDa, he's known to go mech before against Zerg. This isn't the best map, but will he try to force it? Just like Reality did yesterday. We're going to have to find out right now. Game number 1, YoDa versus Czech. Up here in the top right in the purple for the team that's got one and only one hardcore fan that you guys heard out there. It is YoDa. Whoa.
I'm not going to translate that. It's the bottom left in green for Jinner Green Wings. It's Czech, not to be confused with the former very successful early Wings of Liberty player that was on Prime, actually. Have the same ID, who's since retired for quite some time now.
What is the idea there actually behind the Shamrock? Is it because Jinner is green?
I don't know. I didn't read it.
It said something like become, the new good Zerg for Jinner or something.
He wants to be the good luck charm for Zerg.
I suppose. I mean.
Oh, what's really interesting as we get into this first game here for Prime, talking about new management, possibly new sponsors. The coach of STX actually was teaching at a university and has actually come back to esports with some sort of renewed passion, right? So that's actually really cool. But it also means that he no longer has the funding of STX behind him. He's got this new company with him that is coming along here. What's really interesting to note, though, is if, as far as I can tell, if you look at the Prime jersey, there's the Invictus logo is missing, which then begs the question, is the Invictus partnership coming to an end? The players may be in Korea. They're certainly not here on the bench. They did say in their interview when Creator left Prime, there was a statement from Gerard that the Invictus players were planning on returning in early August. So that's around the time that this actually new partnership is starting to happen. So it does beg the question, will we see those Chinese players return? Because I would love to see them. I'd love to see this roster get a little bit more developed and see the other playstyles from the other region.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if they actually come back over here to Korea. I think they are in China right now, but definitely don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure.
Well, they're definitely not here in the studio, so...
Yeah, I would assume if they're here, the three of them are not just going to be back at the house and not play at all.
Right. So, looks like it's going to be a pretty standard opening for these two. Reaper for YoDa, though. No CC first on this map, which is somewhat common, because obviously the map is 4-player and one of our largest maps we've got in here, or part of the swarm right now.
I think maybe he just wants to be a bit safe. Even sending out an SCV here for the extra scout. He wants to find Czech very fast. Check, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for that kind of muta build. We've been seeing it very often these days against Terran as Zerg. Especially on this map, you know, that third base is kind of harder to hold. Especially against 2-base timings from the Terran, which, by the way, are slowly, like, disappearing, I feel, over here in Korea. Slowly.
Yeah.
They're still around, but you don't see them as often these days.
I feel like the rise of aggressive 2-base Zerg has kind of shut this down to a certain extent. We see a lot of more, you know, 2-base Mutalist play in this matchup. We even saw, you know, a lot more Roach all-ins with Banelings. We even saw yesterday Bravo, like, skipped Hellion pressure to go into his mech. He just played super Turley, like, rushed the Siege Tank even.
Yeah. Dark's build for that game was so interesting.
Yeah, it was a pretty fun game. Just one kill here on the Reaper so far.
Yeah, and just I almost called it the Zergling, as the Koreans would. Yeah, just only one kill here on the Zergling, and that's not really that bad. He forces out actually 4 extra lanes, so maybe a bit of a overcompensation here for Czech, trying to make sure 100% that Reaper's not going to get any damage. Keeping both of his queens down here on the low ground as well.
Now, here come 2 Marines. We've started to see this trend become a little bit more popular recently, is to hunt down the Overlords. It used to only be you'd see this when you were going for like a Hellbat timing or some sort of Marauder Hellion attack, sometimes with Hellbat follow-up. It's actually going to find and kill this Overlord. It looks like it's not going to be able to escape.
That is so smart from YoDa. He knows exactly where that Overlord is coming in, and he sends the Marines straight to where they are. So great read by him, and that's just going to be annoying for Czech. And a supply block can force him to make more Overlords when he doesn't want to. Just a nice little, very slight advantage for YoDa.
Yeah. Now, Zergling's speed is about to finish. This means that these Marines definitely need to get back home and hide up here on this high ground. Put a few Hellions out on the map. And it is going to be that 2-base lair like we were talking about earlier.
This is very interesting from YoDa. He's actually going to be reactoring out a bunch of Widow Mines, possibly going for a drop.
Yeah, it starts to look that way. This is a really cool Reaper Scout. It's going to avoid the Watchtower, and it's going to come around and try to see if there's a third base. Even checking for Baneling all-ins or anything like that. Wants to make sure there's no like morphing Banelings over there. Common location to see that.
Yeah. I love when players actually go Reaper, even on big maps like this. You were saying it before. It's just, you know, it's a big map. You want to make sure you can cover all your bases and you're not going to die to something stupid. Is this Reaper actually going to get in? It will.
Wow.
And it's going to see everything.
Oh, will it?
Nice deny, but he does see the lair, and he knows there's no third base, so you can almost assume at this point, wow, that Overlord positioning.
It's definitely going to work out in his favor here. So the Viking follow up to clear this, of course, later, and help clear the rest of the Overlords off the map. But already, Czech pulls his Zerglings back towards his main base. He's getting Spore Crawlers up and Overseer on the way. He knows that Widow Mines are a high possibility with a drop that comes out this early. And let's see if these Widow Mines get decent hits. Even if he kills a ton of Zerglings, that's pretty good. But 3 Queens already waiting here, going to make this pretty tough.
That medevac already getting really low, struggling to find a place to drop. He's just going to drop it here in the corner. It's not going to do much. He should be able to clean up all these Marines and Widow Mines very, very easily.
6 kills on that second Widow Mine. Not terrible, but not the what he wanted. Let's see how many kills these Hellions get on the other hand.
Whoa, coming in here, getting some really nice shots to start things off. Already 10 kills. He does get the surround there with the drones, but 10 kills, not bad.
Yeah. He ended up killing a few Zerglings with that as well. But let's not forget that this is a 2-base Zerg, now adding its 3rd hatchery, while we see YoDa with nearly a 3rd command center completed. He's got double meals already. He's powering up a ton of barracks right now. He's getting his E-base so he can get those upgrades. He's pushing back these Overlords right now. This actually will escape, as it does complete. But I like YoDa's position a lot in this game. Let's see what these Mutalists get done. Let's see if they can actually keep YoDa on the defensive.
Seems like he is going to commit to quite a bunch here. Could be up to 8. Once that Spire pops, he's got enough. Let's see how many he wants to go for.
Ooh, supply block. That's a terrible problem to have when you want to make your first mutas. That's the worst problem to have, in fact. It starts to decide to add everything else during this moment, which is often a good strategy when you're supply blocked. If you're like a gold league player, when you get supply block, that's when you add your 1-1 upgrades. That's when you add your Evo chambers, man. Yeah.
Just wait until you get supply block. That's when you put down the buildings.
Get the +1 for your mutas as well, because you might as well. You're wasting so much time if you just sit there.
Yeah. I was wondering if he was going to go, you know, very heavy muta style, go for that upgrade, but I feel like he almost, just because he was supply block. Hold that thought. Lings do get in. Nice raise there.
Yeah, that was really important for him to get that raise. Now he's actually putting these Lings up for basically no damage.
So 8 mutas on the way with +1. This one Ling is going to deny that turret for a while here, in fact.
Yeah, I'm just definitely going to want to replace that because the Mutas are going to go for that base probably as their primary target besides drop cleanup. Look at this timing of the armory. It's a bit late here, so YoDa's not going to be able to get his 2-2 just yet, but I mean, it's not too terribly timed, but he's already going to have 1-1, and we have +1 Carapace just now being started. Doesn't even have the melee attack on the way, so the Mutalists that he rushed are so late that they're not able to find much here. They're actually trying to hit reinforcements, and he doesn't have upgrades. He doesn't have an economy that backs up, being this late on his Mutalists. He's just in rough shape in general, and YoDa's now with that third base up, you're going to be in good shape to keep pushing here.
Look at this swell of Lings coming in really, really late. He has no Banelings on the map right now, and this is a decently scary push. This is not something you can just, let get onto your creep. Already scans coming down here. That's a lot of tumors. He should be able to kill him.
Yeah. Those tumors are really thick, but I think if his mechanics were a little better, they'd be a bit further out, closer to the watchtower. So this is a really good moment for YoDa here to actually just clear up that thick tumor clump, cluster, whatever you want to call it. Move back to the watchtower now. Regroup. Start his 2-2 upgrades. Baneling speed is going to finish, though, so this attack will kind of end for now because his army is a bit too small to actually contest it straight up.
Did he never get +1 for his melee units?
No.
Looks like he didn't. That's a big mistake. Going for +1 armor on his Mutas.
That's interesting.
But, I mean, he's got enough gas to go for that +1. He gets supply blocked once again.
And our observers highlighted just what you were talking about, just poking in there and showing us that he did not get the upgrade. And the question is that intentional? Nice pickoffs here on the Widow Mines. I mean, you'd think someone who's so attentive to their Mutalist upgrades would be getting the attack upgrade for half of their units. The ground army needs to have those upgrades to compete with the Terran.
Yeah, I think it's definitely not intentional. Just a bit of a mistake. Not the best mechanics here from Czech, but he's sticking in the game. I'm liking the very heavy Muta style. So far, he's keeping YoDa back. But that drop may be able to find a bit of damage, may be able to cancel that fort base from coming down. That would be a very nice find for YoDa.
This repair will keep this turret alive for quite some time here. In fact, indefinitely. I'm going to kill a few SCVs for one Mutalist. The second one nearly dying, but does escape. They're actually going to try to catch these Mutalists here on the retreat. A nice move, even with the Viking to help zone. But here come the Banes.
The Bane's coming in. He doesn't move the SCVs at all. He doesn't even notice 14 go down, but at the same time, 4 Widow Mines getting the exact same amount of damage.
14 for 14. I guess it's an even trade. The only thing being that the Widow Mines survive, and they'll actually be able to trigger again if he doesn't clean those. Mutalists do get pushed back.
Yeah, and he lost quite a bit of Mutas, if I'm not mistaken, too. I think he was up near 17, but down to 14 now. These Widow Mines, they're going to refresh very, very soon. See if the Queen will be able to clean them up. It doesn't look like it. That second one, though.
Here it goes.
Oh, boy. Oh, wow.
Extract the target. This is not the cleanest game we're watching right now, Valdez.
The Ling's running in. Trading, getting no damage done at all. This hatchery, it looks like that little drop was cleaned up at about half health for now. All the Mutas coming back into the main base.
To defend one Widow Mine, and just now...
The Widow Mine was gone by the time they got there.
Yeah. That +1 melee upgrade is about to finish, but 2-2 versus just +1 armor right now on the field here for YoDa. Plus, he has a ton of medevacs for healing. Every time he stims, his units get instantly rehealed.
YoDa forgot his 3-3 too. He could get so far ahead. Finally, the +3 attack is coming in, but he was up at 1,000 gas and he wasn't making it, so definitely forgotten. There you go. He is going to get it now. But yeah, as you said before, a bit of a sloppy, messy game to start the night.
Yeah, absolutely. Now YoDa is getting a Thor here, kind of teching into that to help deal with this Mutalist clump. Yeah. There are 20 Mutalists on the map. Now keep in mind also, he's almost pure Marine. 60 Marines and 4 Marauders. Interesting that he would add Thor's in with this composition. I guess he's just expecting these Banelings are going to hit a lot of his Marines, and the splitting there was weak.
I really like the Thor, actually, just because of the heavy Muta style from Czech. You almost need a Thor or 2 at this point in time. Look at how much damage these Mutas are actually getting. They should be able to magic. Yep, they're going to get a free Thor here at the same time. Repair is late.
Oh, he's not even repairing the turret. A lot of these SCVs on stop command, and they're just going to take some damage. This is one of the sloppiest games we have seen this season. Valdez now going to come over here and actually maybe even get the CC.
Yeah, YoDa at this point is just having so much trouble dealing with this Muta harass. And, it may be sloppy, but it's a bit of a fun one. It's kind of all over the place. sloppy StarCraft can also be fun to watch.
Oh, for
Drop
sure.
coming in here. 4 Widow Mines, there's no defense. Goodbye, Mineral Line. Once again.
27 SCVs for 15. A huge Widow Mine hit on those Mutalisks, but needs more than that to finish them off. And a ton more SCVs going down. 2 more. So many of these are damaged and in the red. These Lings need to come out to play. They're just sitting in the Mineral Line on vacation.
Check, like...
Oh, God, here we go. Those
boy.
depots are down. He goes right into the bunker.
And a lot of Banes left over, but good positioning there. Still going to get 9 SCVs. The Lings running in after, trying to get the weakened units, but runs straight into the army.
Looks like it might have been on same control group there. But this small group of units should not be able to get this hatchery. Should definitely be able to pick that off. Now, YoDa will want to boost away here. Okay.
This many mutas, that's going down.
Yep. Might get 1 muta for it.
He really wanted that medevac, and he does get it.
23 Banes on the way to replace those Banes that crashed into the SCVs. Worker count 87 to 34. Yeah. So Czech's got this massive economy. He's on 4 bases, and YoDa has not been able to touch him. Even though he had such a massive lead, and he does have this massive lead in upgrades, 3-3 is about to finish. He has no ground to speak of. The creep spread here is, again, very thick, but not moving very far.
Yeah, I would say the idea behind both of these guys' play is quite nice. You know, they know what they're doing. They're definitely pro gamers in the sense of the word, but the execution here is definitely pretty far off for both of these players. Like YoDa, he gets the right units out, but having really hard trouble trying to deal with what Tech's throwing at him. Now he's not going to split on creep and loses half of his army.
And he didn't have he had his Marauders like in the middle. And the Marines at the back, Mutalisks, meanwhile killing his base. Yeah, I think this might be the end here for YoDa. He cannot afford to lose these units at this point. He's going to lose the CC. And now the Mutalisks can come back and defend. His Banelings, most of them are about to finish. It's a mostly Marauder army, but still too much dirt here. And the Medivacs, there's so many of them in the sky, but if there's no army underneath, it just will not matter.
And the Muta's coming back to clean everything up. There are a bunch of Marines here, but it's not going to matter. They got 3-3. Not enough medevacs healing those very small number of Marines. Everything should be cleaned up here.
Yep. One by one, the medevacs will finally start to fall here. The last 2 Marauders going down as well. And that should be game. YoDa stims 2 Marauders and a Marine. Not going to be able to save this army. The next wave of reinforcements is going to be his last, as he is out of money. But he needs more Banelings actually to defend this. This is a 3-3 Terran army.
Yeah, the Ling's going to be forced to push forward here. All Tech really has to do is hold this off.
He gets killed by his own Widow Mines. He doesn't target those at all.
Now, Banes are going to finish up here, and that should be the end of this push. He's got some units slowly getting across the map, but his economy is crushed. Oh, boy.
Those are all changelings right there, by the way. Don't be surprised by those Marines not doing anything.
I was actually fooled for a bit there.
And now down to 40 supply. YoDa knows this game is over. He's had a frustrating losing streak here.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be loss number 14 here in a row. Kind of hard to stomach at this point.
Takes a hand off. Sure. Yeah, takes a hand off the keyboard here. I mean, this is one of the best Terrans we had in Wings of Liberty on one of the best teams. Now struggling here on Prime as one of their 4 members. Partnership or no, man, he wanted to win today against one of Jin Air's weakest. Was he 2 in 14 or something in overall Pro League ever? Only played 1 match and lost it this round. Scan goes down and sees the 5th base. Yeah, GG indeed.
Well, there you have it. Check. He does get the win here against Prime and against YoDa. And will improve his score to 1-1 and will give Jin Air the first win here. I said it before, that was pretty much Prime's only hope. YoDa looked pretty decent there going into the mid game, but I think he just totally fell apart to the Mutas a little bit later on.
Well, that's a great win for Jin Air in general. Their first set win this round, and not only that, but having Czech there, someone who's really one of their B teamers. They're trying to field him more often. They're trying to get this guy out there, get him more experience, so that he can actually come through and follow through as being one of their heavy hitters. He gets that win.
You can tell, like, even after winning that game, he just looks so relieved after getting that. The amount of stress these guys go under just to get into the booth and play a game of StarCraft in front of all these people, it's pretty immense. And you'll get that win. I'm sure he feels very good about it. On the other hand, YoDa, not so much.
Yeah. It's a bit rough to take losses like this, man. Against, you have the best chance on your team to take a win. You're playing against one of their B teamers. Almost a C teamer, really, with the results that Czech has, excuse me. It's just a rough loss to take. There's no overstating it. Now, we're going to go into the second game now here in just a moment. Shot of Maru having a chat here.
Maru actually got makeup done today.
Yeah.
He asked for it. And it's kind of funny because I think he is in that 4th spot. And he may not even play today the way things are going against Prime. Keen coming up against Rogue will be the next matchup here. Rogue definitely the high favorite once again.
Keen, once very inconsistent pro with